Linked data is like a symphony. If we only hear one instrument playing, we don't know its relation to the whole piece of music. Only when it is played with other instruments can we understand its meaning. The right instruments have to play together. Imagine an electric guitar playing with our orchestra. They wouldn't make sense together, even though they are all instruments. In order to find instruments that match each other, you need to identify them. In linked data, everything is identifiable by a URI, the instrument itself, the instruments it belongs with, even the relation between two instruments, to create that perfect harmony. Another key aspect of linked data is that it is decentralized. And because it is decentralized, anyone can combine instruments freely to create their own music. Or even create a new form of orchestra. Let us take you on a journey to discover linked data and introduce you to LIDER, a key project in this technology area. Our journey starts in Russia, where an orchestra is currently touring. Here is an example of how LIDER can help the individual citizen. Alicia, our Spanish violinist, is allergic to sycamore trees, also known as plátano in Spanish. Alicia uses her usual translation app,
Plátano.
And out comes banana. Trusting her app, Alicia shows this information to a pharmacist. Just to double check, the pharmacist searches for plátano. Out comes a lot of pictures of bananas. He assumes that Alicia must be allergic to bananas. So he gives her the wrong medicine. The problem with such translation is its one-dimensionality. The app only translates the spoken or written representation of a word, but not its meaning. Linked data that deals with language, so-called linguistic linked data, addresses this problem by decoupling the meaning of language from its written or spoken representation. Therefore, the word plátano could be linked to its meaning as a sycamore tree. This will help not just to solve ambiguities between senses and linguistic expressions, but also help Alicia to get the right medicine. But Alicia isn't the only person struggling on this trip. The app developer who made her app will have to solve a lot more problems than just hers. He needs a model of senses and dictionaries for dozens of languages and different applications. But how? The LIDER team will tell him how.
When we talk about creating an ecosystem of linked data sets, of linguistic linked data sets, we need patterns, recipes, easy recipes that people can follow when they publish their data.
And this is where linguistic linked data comes into play, because it allows to bridge the language barrier. So you are able to pose queries in different languages and retrieve exactly the right kind of factual data from this big data that you want to have to answer your question.
LIDER guidelines are best practices for helping people to generate linked data, linguistic linked data from language resources. So we have guidelines at different levels, guidelines that help to generate RDF, to publish RDF, and we also have guidelines for helping people to transform different types of language resources into RDF. So for instance, we have guidelines for transforming bilingual dictionaries into RDF and connecting bilingual dictionaries with other resources like BabbleNet. We also have guidelines for transforming resources in TBX into RDF. We have guidelines for transforming WordNets into RDF. So any type of language resource requires some kind of guidelines for helping third users that are not participating in LIDER to transform their resources into RDF, and also for linking with other resources like BabbleNet.
The research community and the industry will take action. So what they will do is to bring more and more resources, more and more linguistic resources into the Linguistic Linked Open Data Cloud.
Language providers providing resources in different ways. These need to be integrated. There needs to be efficient and scalable methods to identify if things are the same. This is the core problem in linked data, specifically in linguistic linked data, to identify that this word or this attribute of this word, this representation is the same between this provider and this provider.
Specifically in Europe, to make this work for linguistic linked data is a reference structure or an architecture that is universally applicable and for which the standards are clearly communicated and everybody knows how it works.
Relying on these standards, our app developer can easily work with resources created by others in a distributed manner, distributed just like the web itself. He is able to help himself by using information generated by others. And his own work also becomes part of the Linguistic Linked Data Cloud, further improving its value. Discovery of language resources is important for the developer. That's why LIDER has developed LingHub, a tool that helps developers find resources by language and type. Sometimes he has to do this very quickly. For instance, he discovers a Spanish-Russian dictionary linked in the Linguistic Linked Data Cloud. Without costly engineering or taking a lot of time, the app developer can plug the dictionary into his app, and the magic works, just in time. The orchestra is finally good to go. All of their problems have been solved thanks to the app developer and LIDER. But where's the audience? Lucia, a local online journalist, did not write an article about the orchestra. She did not find the information she needed about the orchestra's recent tour in Japan. LIDER could have helped to prevent that from happening too, if Lucia would have used a linguistic linked data app for information gathering. Sometimes, searching for the right information can be a needle in the haystack. Where do you start? One dictionary tells her to look for, another one for, and this one for. All of these words have the same pronunciation, but different meanings. But Lucia has no time to figure all this out. She just wants the right resource to find the right statistics. Fortunately, the Linguistic Linked Data Cloud can guide her to the right information and facts. Lucia just relies on a data journalist app that does the magic and extracts statistics from several sources. Lucia does not have to be worried anymore about finding the right facts and can concentrate totally on her story. Finally, a good story. Linguistic linked data has helped everyone to do a great job. Moreover,
in Europe, cultural diversity and linguistic diversity is a reality and a richness as well. But this also introduces some effects. For instance, in the exchange, in the free exchange of data or services, which are hampered because of linguistic barriers. Maybe because data is expressed in different languages or services are described in different languages. So in that context, linguistic linked data, when deployed at its full potential, will be able to reduce such barriers, then facilitating commerce across countries, across different languages, reducing market fragmentation, and promoting also cultural exchange.
so are we done with LIDER? Not at all. Here is one more song for you.
In LIDER, we're very interested in drilling down more with particular application domains. That may be working with libraries, so we're starting to work with some of the national libraries in Europe. It may be working in particular vertical domains such as healthcare or agriculture, and again there's partner projects who are looking at projects in those areas, and also working with the European Commission itself as one of the biggest producers of multilingual content in Europe, and working with them both to improve how they can publish multilingual data, how they can encourage other national governments who do translations to publish that data, and also how to use that to improve technologies like machine translation.
LIDER has produced a reference architecture for working with linguistic linked data and a roadmap of future research and application scenarios. Check out our website to learn more about these and other outcomes of the LIDER project.
我已经跟他说那哪儿简单。